Give us any chance, we'll take it. Read us any rule, we'll break it. We're gonna make our dreams come true.
Welcome to Night After Night, a podcast about 8 seasons in a row. I'm Mr. Fernandes, and
I am Chris Jayawardena. Hello.
We're doing the first episode of Season 3 of Laverne Shirley. We've made it all the way to Season 3.
Yay!
This is Airport 59, directed by Alan Rafkin, who will direct the entire season.
Pretty much, yeah.
The entire season except for 2 episodes. There's 2 episodes by Ray Duvall Jr., but Alan handles this entire season and would end up going on to direct 2 seasons of One Day at a Time after this.
Oh, wow.
And he won an Emmy for one of those episodes.
Wow.
That he did for One Day at a Time. Yeah.
Nice.
But this is a rare Laverne Shirley season where every single episode is directed by the same guy. So it'll be interesting to see if any consistency changes occur as
I
we
will keep
move
my
through
eyes
this.
peeled.
We have 2 episodes that he didn't direct. Ray Duvall Jr. handled those, but we'll get to them when we get to them. Chris Thompson also wrote this episode, and I bet that our Chris has something to say about them, doesn't
Why,
he?
yes, I do. I have a little bit to say about this other Chris that I'm going to bark at some point during this episode. Ruff, 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 ruff. Who's that other Chris? Over there. Ruff. I do these things to try to make Lisa laugh. Okay. But this is the first of 8 episodes that Chris Thompson would do for the show before moving on to such series as Bosom Buddies and Hard Knocks, while also having writing credits on Jumping Jack Flash for Penny Marshall. And
So cool.
awesome detail that made me happy was he is also one of the creators and producers of Action with Jay Moore, which is one of my favorite shows about Hollywood.
Oh.
So that became kind of one of the things, kind of one of the last major projects he ended up working on. But he also directed another later Laverne and Shirley episode called The Rock and Roll Show.
Oh, yeah.
So
Oh,
I
God,
actually
the
have
rock
a
and
note
roll
here that
stuff.
says that's from season 8,
God.
and I should insert
Oh, God. That's not the worst episode from season 8, if that makes you feel any better. We got way worse episodes, and they are not good.
And with Alan Rafkin, I did want to point out that he did pass away in 2001, so much honor to you, Mr. Rafkin. Good on you for doing so many episodes of the show. He also worked on Blansky's Beauties, and
Yes.
as I was going through notes about people who worked on season 3 of the show, that's going to come up a lot.
Lansky's Beauties. Lansky's Beauties was an experience. We cannot find the episode where Penny and Phil guest star as Laverne and Frank. There is a crossover episode that exists out there. And if you guys have a copy of it, please forward it along because we want to see it. And it's another one of the lost treasures for the show. I was going to say that Rafkin worked with Penny previously on the show Paul Sand and Friends and Lovers, which was a series she did just before this and just before Odd Couple, where she plays the wife of the main character's brother. The series lasted only 1 season before it got canceled. And Paul Sand will surface in season 7. I think. Moving in. Yes, this is season 7 moving in. It's worth pointing out before we dig into the episode that there's only one major change between season 3 and season 2 of Laverne and Shirley. No major cast changes. No major upheavals when it comes to what's being written and who's being written, what's being written by who. The credits do change by the 2nd episode of the series. We will probably get to that when we cover tag team wrestling. We've got a special guest coming up for that, so we will have to see how that runs for us. But it's worthwhile to note that there are 3 shots, and for the first time, the boys actually get direct FaceTime. We get to see them head on versus being in silhouette in the snowball fight. This is like they finally get major close-ups.
Rather than just being those people who have bad snowball form. They have the high ground, boys. What do you think was going to happen?
They don't do logic. They just want to get their sweaters wet. It's the boys.
Oh, boy.
They either want to get snow down their back, so they want to get their clothing wet. That's how
Which
their
he
logic
would work
operates.
better if you camped out on the steps and waited for them to. Why am I even thinking about it this way? No. Stop it. My bad. I shouldn't be trying to encourage them.
Could be worse. You could encourage worse characters on the show. Here is what Airport 59 is about. Edna, Frank, Carmine, Lenny, and Squiggy gather at the Pizza Bowl to watch the Packers game. A game to which Laverne and Shirley have flown to attend after winning a lottery at the brewery. The girls have gone in spite of Laverne's severe phobia of flying, which she apparently incurred because her Uncle Fungy used to throw her up in the air and then forget to catch her.
Oh, God.
When the girls appear in the middle of the game with a wild tale, everybody's skeptical. But they claim they battled fear of life and death itself to land an airplane when the pilot passed out on their charter flight. And a plane-phobic Laverne landed all by herself. So what do you think of this one?
Well, I just wanted to say good luck. We're all counting on you. It's
Don't call
going
me
to
Shirley.
be... This was a lot of laughs in this one. There's great character stuff here. There's great dialogue here. The timing on some of the gags, especially there's some good wide shots, like the bit where let's see, let me just find my note here. Yeah, when Shirley is trying to get things sit down and saying, "Oh, it's Laverne, you can sit in the you can sit it by the window seat," and she doesn't realize Laverne's taking the seat by the nun for good luck, and she sits down and honks the horn.
Yeah.
I mean, the timing of that gag is, and it's all in my if I recall, that is pretty much all in one shot, and that's rhythm, man. That is rhythm.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of really great little comedy moments like that. Like when Laverne starts to pray when the plane takes off and Shirley tells her to stop with that silly praying. She's next to a nun and she realizes what she said. I like praying good stuff. Is what comes out.
Yeah, my mom guffawed at the nun giving her a look.
That was so good.
That was good. Yeah. But yeah, there's so many good planning, just like the line deliveries in some places, just like it's even at the beginning, it's the there's that bit where they're saying it's like, we almost we were just this close to meeting the Grim Reaper, which also quick shout out, we get a Squeaky Cheryl moment, which I love Squeaky Cheryl moments. And mention the Grim Reaper, and Lenny goes, "You mean that fat guy at work that's always eating that labeling glue?" And it's like, no, the Grim Reaper, death himself. Have you ever smelled that glue, or ever tasted that glue? I can't remember. I think it's taste that glue, something like that.
Taste, because the boys would shove that in their mouths.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. There's wonderful bits. I mean, and it's kind of cool that this is it's a joke on Airport. And yet it's also a few years before the Zaz did their 0 hour homage, which is pretty cool. It's pretty fun.
Yeah. Ultimately, it manages to capture that moment in pop culture where people were still taking the Airport series seriously.
Right.
This is right before Airport 77, right? I think Airport 77.
Let's see, because Airport 75 is the one with Heston. I want to say Airport 77 is the one. That's the Concorde one, right?
Yeah. Well, let me look that up. We're gonna pause.
No. Wait. Sorry. Yeah. Concorde. I can't remember which one is the Concorde one, but yeah. No. 77. You are correct. That is the one where they have to go in with the divers. The one with
yes,
Lemon,
the plane
Olivia de Havilland, and. Oh God, Chris. That's right. That's the one that's got Christopher Lee in it. Because I knew Christopher Lee was in one of them. I was confirming that.
Yep. That's the one where it officially becomes a joke. I mean, people were mean about the Karen Black movie that came before it, but this is where it just becomes a campy joke and people can't take it seriously anymore. That's where that happens, and then just the Concorde happens. You get Charo, and they just give up. They marketed it as a comedy. They just gave up and marketed it as a comedy. The thrills are terrific, and so are the laughs. The marketing for that one. And when you go as far as they did in that film, you just kind of shrug and say, "Screw it, you're making a comedy now."
Right.
Yeah, this hits right before National Zeitgeist started laughing at disaster films.
Right.
This is right before we started getting the Swarm, and right before the second Poseidon Adventure movie, and everybody just gives up and starts laughing at it. So
exactly.
yeah, this is there's only really one thing I would change about this episode. It would be allowing somebody to believe the girls, or them being able to prove that what happened happens.
Yep.
Because nobody believes them, and everybody's rude about it, and it's just mean. It's almost too mean. Because they never get a chance to fully redeem themselves and prove that, hey, yeah, we did this. We risked life and limb for this. We almost died. We saved the day.
Yeah, it's interesting thinking about that. I because my notes on my second viewing, I did kind of like the fact that it was the bonding moment between the two, that it becomes a story that's kind of their own. You know, that they like the fact that they're sort of because they feel left out, but they have each other to back each other up and say, but it happened. We did that. And who cares, sort of like, who cares if no one believes us? We know we did it. And, the thank yous and then up to the heavens for one more thank you to because I'm telling you, he's a heck of a co-pilot.
That was good. That was a good line.
That's a great line. But yeah, that was my take. But at the same time, it's a case of I'm of two minds. I agree and I disagree, but I also don't feel, I think, too strongly about it. But I also, I agree with what you're saying that, especially where Carmine gets so upset. I was like, who would ever believe a story like that? Not even the boys believe in them. The fact that boys don't believe them is kind of weird because they're so gullible. It's they of all people should totally fall for it. Yeah. Although I do love that they were able to trick them into thinking that it was trick photography.
No one stands.
And it's like, because oh god, the boys, it's like, I told you, it's like, we're not actually here, we're there. And it's, oh god. Yeah.
But the boys have a lot of really good moments in this episode. Like them running in because they think they've been chased by dogs, and they think Squiggy's coat is heat.
I love that. Oh yeah.
And Squiggy kind of determinedly staring at the screen, trying to find the girls, even though they're behind them.
Yeah.
Even though they're in the restaurant, Lenny's already turned around and is already looking at them and realizes, oh yeah, they're right in front of me. And Squiggy's trying to find them. They can hear me!
They can hear me. They can hear me. Yeah, because I'm right here. Where's that? Where? Oh gosh.
Until she honks that horn, he has no idea she's in the room, and that's the most Squiggy thing I can think of, because I wanted to note before we dig deeper into what happens on the plane, that Anna and Frank are very clearly together here. He calls her his girlfriend. She starts fussing over him.
The fussing's adorable, super cute.
Yep.
Get your glass. So my dad didn't have to start wearing glasses until recently. My mom fusses over him and his glasses all the time.
Aww,
it's really
that's sweet.
It's very sweet. But I do love if Frank's line, honey, I need a girlfriend, not a mother. And it's like, yeah, I beg to differ on that one, buddy. You need a little bit of both in your case, pal. And I love also on that opening scene, speaking of Edna, I love the face she gives to Squiggy. She's forever judging him for that sexist line, women at a football game is unnatural. Ugh.
Yeah. There's literally no reason for him to think that, because you can't tell me he wouldn't try to pick up girls at a football game.
Oh, he totally
He's the kind of guy who would try to pick up girls at a football game to go out of it.
Oh, yeah.
It's natural to have girls near sports. When also he knows how good of an athlete Laverne is, that's definitely going to come up later. That's going to come over on season 4, season 5, where we get to see a lot of stuff happening with the Shots Company baseball team. And he knows how good she is and how bad he is, so he should be quiet in a lot of ways. But that's future writer nonsense, where the writers had no book, never had a book. Back to the flight itself. I loved how Shirley is always keeping like an eye out for Laverne, trying to make sure she's popping her ears and all that stuff. And then Laverne swallows her gum
Yes.
and manages to get it back up, and she's so horrified by it.
Yeah.
I love how
I got it.
I got it back. I got it. That's
Yeah.
disgusting. This trip is disgusting.
Yeah, my mother commented, "No, that's awesome. She got it out."
Yeah, I know. She could have died. It could have gone to her lungs.
Yeah.
There's something really great about how they are a team. They're a team even in near death. Even as Smiling Ralph is lying there on the floor, and they have to take God on as their co-pilot and get themselves through this. I think it's interesting that Shirley apparently flew out to San Diego to see her father.
When she was 6.
Yeah, when she was 6. I was gonna say, but at least that counts as some kind of contact between them. I bet you just dumped her in a motel. That counts as something.
Oh, no. He got her to end up staying at the airport hotel, and because it was a way to find it as a package deal, so it saved as much money as possible. And then he used that as a way to put it on some sort of credit that he then canceled somehow and was able to swindle his way out of ever having to pay him back.
Yeah. Savage.
Oh, Jack. Yeah. But Shirley puffing herself up like that was cute. Speaking of the pilot, by the way, so most untrustworthy pilot I've seen in a show in a while. As soon as I saw him, it just was like it's like I was waiting for the Aunt Gail. It's like, my cat was right about you moments.
The fact that he actually just embarked on this charter flight without a co-pilot.
Yep.
And that's more like a private plane kind of thing from what I can remember, and it's never a good idea.
No.
Never a good idea.
Nope. Yeah, the actor, by the way, was Roy Stewart, who a lot of folks will know from Gomer Pyle as Corporal Boyle. He mostly did bit parts and guest spots to his name aside from that, and but I also want to bring up that just out of for hilarity's sake, he has a cameo scale role as a potential VP in Linda Lovelace for President.
Oh my gosh! Wasn't everybody in that movie? It feels like everybody was in that movie. Mickey Dolenz was in that movie.
I mean, the eggs that you and I were made of were probably in that movie.
Oh gosh, that's probably true. At least in my case.
But back on track though. Yeah, Smiling Ralph was a blast of a character. And it's a bummer that he gets knocked out, but his physical timing, his gestures, and the fact he can stay in some of those stress positions on the chair the way they sit him down, and he could hold it for that long is pretty funny. Yeah. And I did like that. When he wakes up, they don't try to play it as like it's like, what were you doing? You could have gotten them killed. It's like, no, you did fine. You actually did really good because they got the plane close enough to landing that he was able to take it from there when he wakes up, which I thought was kind of cool.
Yeah,
but I wouldn't trust that guy though.
No, I would not want him to fly me anywhere.
Mm-mm.
The way the girls team up here is great. The kiss is interesting in of itself, right on the mouth.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
And then they never talk about it, at least in the show. But it happens, and then them chanting their motto from the yearbook.
Oh,
as
feelings.
The plane starts to descend down, the feelings are so strong with this moment because this is their friendship. This is, if they died, they wanted the words that they wrote to one another on their lips, and that is lovely in its own way.
Yep.
And that's why this show has a large gay following. I shouldn't even laugh because it's true. This is why the show has a large gay following. Yeah. Oh yeah, there's a strong lesbian following of Laverne Shirley. At least in the 70s and and also into the 80s. It's kind of faded out of the culture in a lot of ways. The show's gotten more obscure and reruns have become less prevalent. But it was a big deal for a while there.
I bet. Yeah. Yep. But the I mean, I guess I don't know what else more I could say. I mean, I don't have, as a predominantly straight dude, cishet dude.
Yeah.
I don't have much I can comment on it, but it was cute. It was sweet, and I like that they did. I'm glad that it wasn't just shrugged off. That there was that literal like we'll talk about that later moment, like an awareness of it.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I love that Shirley just kind of is climbing into the seat now, as close to to Laverne as she can, and it's just totally feeling. What is it? No matter what, even if you splatter my body on the tarmac, you'll always be my best friend in the whole wide world.
Yeah.
It's like, no.
Yeah, I know. It's impossible not to root for them in this episode. It's impossible not to root for them.
Yeah.
This man.
Yeah. I mean, even when it's I love the banter is so good between them with the back and forth, and especially the go find a licensed pilot and don't let anyone panic. It's just sure I'll go back and try to find a tactful way of letting know all these people that their lives don't mean a plum nickel. Oh,
No.
God, that a plum nickel. Oh boy, yeah.
There's a lot of like really good minor supporting bits here. The flight attendant's really funny. The nun's funny.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of good minor supporting work that helps make this one pop a little bit.
As well, there is another Marshallverse person amongst that cast. Do you know which one?
Oh. No, I do not actually.
It's the hype man, the whoa Packers guy is Ed Peck, who was on TV as far back as 1950. And had tons of guest sponsor supporting roles to his name, and got a couple of movie roles as well as he has a bit part in Bullet. But he was mostly known for being Officer Kirk, either as a cop or as an army officer, which I think I vaguely remember.
Oh, yeah, Officer Kirk from Happy Days.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah. Yep. But yeah, the flight attendants were great. The VIP section line. So good.
Yeah, Laverne could do a B-52 impression, and it was known for being a good B-52. Yeah. Perfect.
Oh, poor Laverne. That's so embarrassing.
I know.
Yeah, but hey, she's a practiced raspberrier. Raspberrier. There you go. So you'd figure she'd have the practice of blowing air through her lips in a farty noise.
Yeah. Yeah, yes, indeed.
Also, quick question. So, Shirley with the dream about Fabian. Not again, Fabian?
I was going to mention that. I was literally about to mention that. Not again, Fabian, not again.
So, is she dreaming of joining the Mile High Club? Like, multiple times?
Possibly. It's also... This is foreshadowing, by the way. Fabian will be involved later in the season. This isn't a spoiler, because Chris has already watched this episode.
I mean, I was gonna pretend that I hadn't, but you don't
have to pretend. We watched this we watched a couple episodes in a block, and that was part of the block. So
that's true.
That's not a spoiler anyway. But Fabian starts being mentioned more, and he does show up later in the season as Shirley's main crush, huge crush on him. And yeah, apparently she has naughty fantasies about him when she is asleep. So, which is more of a Laverne kind of thing. For her to actually be doing that is kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm. Well, she just has to be asleep to have her guard down, at least.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, that's that's a good one. Sorry for stealing your thunder on that one.
It's okay.
But yeah, it is overall it is a super cute episode. There are so many. There's great dialogue. There's great laughs. My mom loved this episode in particular. It's definitely one of my. It's a really strong start to season 3 because you can just see like how they're tonally it's trying to match season 2, but they've sort of refined the comedy element a little bit. The timing's a little stronger. Dialogue's a little punchier. So it's good.
Yeah, it's kind of getting tighter, comedically tighter. The dialogue and physical comedy are starting to collide more. Everything's working pretty well. Everything's firing on all cylinders.
Yeah. There is the one quick goof I want to mention though on that note, because we're praising the tech of the show as well, is that you can hear the production audio overlap with the ADR of the control tower guy on the radio. So you can hear it overlap a little bit on a couple lines. which is interesting. Like the sound editor was trying to get it out of there, but he had some difficulty.
With we should notice late 70s technology, which is hard enough as it was.
Yes.
Honestly, like, I was gonna close with one specific piece of dialogue that comes after the boys declare that they don't believe the girls. The Squiggy says he believes the girls, like Jane Mansfield wants his body. and Lenny goes, what you want your body for? She's got a beautiful one herself. And it's just like, that's fun, dumb dialogue. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, and it's so that's where you also notice that I'm noticing through because Lenny gets to become the punchline guy, that the line is set up and he gives the punchline. Michael's getting really good at that by this point.
Yeah.
It's very good. Yeah.
He's got a lot of good comedic timing. The timing between the boys and the comedic timing is going to get more and more and more and more solid. More and more and more solid.
Nice.
We will get there. It's going to get even better. We will get there.
Cool. Happy to hear. Cool. So I guess it's time for us to rank it, huh?
Yes, indeed.
Do you want to go first, or shall I?
I'll go first. This is about a solid, about 7 or 8. Not 8 for me. This got a lot of memorable moments. A lot of people remember this episode when they think of Laverne Shirley. Though it's not like top among Dine or among like stuff like say Lenny's Crush, which is the top IMDb episode, top 2. What's in the top 2? That and the Diner. Probably the most memorable episodes of the series for a lot of people. But it is pretty iconic in several ways. It's pretty well remembered for several reasons, and it's worth watching. So what that is a nice, solid opening to the season. And fairly decent and fairly iconic. I wouldn't call it essential, but worth watching. What do you think?
Nice. I would say the same. Like it was an 8 for me for rank for sure, because it was very strong. 8.5 in some places, just in terms of like the timing and directing is really strong, but it's it's a case of where there's part of there's some weaknesses and just the kind of the it's a thing where most of it works, but it's also not working at like a high level. But it's very sharp. It's very, and you also could see it is a first episode of a new season kind of episode.
Yeah.
So not necessarily essential, but one you shouldn't skip, and one that there's a lot to enjoy.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I think all we've got to say this week.
Cute. All right. And thank you again, everybody, for joining us tonight on Night After Night. About this time around, we're going to start saying, hey, if you want to stay in touch, why don't you drop us a line over Twitter. Follow us on Twitter at NightAfterNightPC, or maybe hit us up a message on Facebook at Night After Night Podcast, or Night After Night Pod on Tumblr.com. And if you'd like to incentivize us to do more, we're now in season 3 now. So I mean, gosh, if you're still with us by this point, I mean, hopefully you want to, and we have incentivized you to incentivize us to do more, because we're enjoying the show for sure. And if you'd like to hit us up with some support, you can hit us up on Patreon, and we'll be the incentives mostly are for bonus episodes primarily right now, and things of that nature. Anywho, I think that covers most of the social media stuff, but we'd love to hear from you. And if you would like to reach out a direct comment, you can send it to nightafternightpod@gmail.com, or put a comment on the YouTube version of this video. Anyways, yes. So I think that is all for now. So now that we're in season 3, Lisa, my dear, my darling, what is next?
Next, we're going to be introduced to the magical stylings of Terry Buttafuoco. This is tag team wrestling. It is about the girls trying to win a charity wrestling match and put on an exhibition boxing match to benefit to the sick child. And we're going to have a special guest join us. And we'll see how...
We have a guest. Yeah. Ooh.
Yes, we do. And we'll surprise you with her when we get there. It's called Tag Team Wrestling. It's a fun little episode. And I hope y'all enjoy sticking around for and watching it with us. And listening to us talk about it at least. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you again, everybody. And I guess we'll see you next time.
See you next time. Go Packers.
Go Pack! Yeah, that's right. We didn't do a Packers.
Packers won the Super Bowl.
Woo!
Packers,
honey, Packers won the Super Bowl. Woo! Yeah, there we go. Bye, Misties.
Bye, Misties. We love you.